So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Kaduku back here, BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Friday, March 19th. Hope everyone's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day. Yesterday, it is in fact Friday, March 19th here today. We come to the end of the week full of podcasts once again. Another great week of podcasts, as today we will finish it all off, so it should be good. March Madness started yesterday. Super exciting. 4 games on yesterday. The first 4, UCLA won, Norfolk State won, Drake won, and Texas Southern won. And Texas Southern won, even though it's a small school and it's kind of a an underrated game and stuff like that. It was a very entertaining game to watch, especially down the stretch. I saw all 4 of the games, at least bits and pieces. I was able to watch the whole Mount St. Mary's Texas Southern. I was able to watch Norfolk Appalachian State. I watched Drake, Wichita State. I watched that game pretty much in its entirety. And then I switched later, a little bit after that game, to Norfolk State versus Appalachian State. Actually, that game was going on during the Michigan State game, so I quickly switched to that game to watch the final couple of minutes of that game. And in Michigan State, I watched a little bit of that game. So I was able to get all 4 of the games, at least watch a little bit of them. And today, obviously, is really when it all starts. Yesterday, obviously, had the first 4 games. And today is really when it all starts. You have your 2 games that kick off. There's a game that kicks off at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you have a noon game Eastern. Then you have a 1 o'clock game for Eastern. So you have 2 games, and then you have another game. Illinois, I believe plays. Then you got Texas Tech, Ohio State, and all those teams play. And the final game today will be Villanova-Winthrop at 9:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's going to be games from noon. There's going to be games for 9 hours. We're going to have 9 hours of college basketball to watch. So there should be no complaining. This is a time where we can't be complaining about not having sports to watch. You can't. I mean, you can't sit here right now and complain that we don't have sports to watch, because we still have the Nets and the Rangers tonight as well. They play. I will watch them, but I'm going to get my, 7 hours in until the Rangers and stuff, and I don't know if I'm going to be watching 7 straight hours, I'm sure, but I'm going to get as many games as I can in, and I'm going to watch as much as I can, because that's the beauty of the March Madness. There's all these games, all these different games, all these different teams, these players, coaches, all that stuff. So there's so many different games. It's going to be really fun. And then tomorrow, we have more games on tomorrow. And then Sunday, you have a day off. So Sunday's a day off. And then Monday, I believe there should be some more games on Monday as well, which would start off the second round. So I think there's games on Monday, right? Monday. Yeah, I believe there's some games on Monday as well, and I think Tuesday. I don't think Sunday. Is there? I don't know. I don't believe there's any games on. There might be some games on Sunday, but I don't know. For what I'm looking here, there is none. But I know there's games all of today and all of tomorrow, and then you get into your second round, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, and obviously the championship. So, but anyway, yeah. So that was good. Good stuff there in March Madness. If you really want me to go over what happened yesterday, kind of to go over what happened, like I do every podcast here, kind of recap what happened last night, was just March Madness basketball. Obviously the Rangers didn't play, the Nets didn't play. There was March Madness on. The Knicks did play. I didn't watch the Knicks. I sometimes will watch the Knicks, but not always. Yesterday I was caught up all in the March Madness stuff. So I was watching the March Madness, so that was good. So I got some March Madness action in there yesterday. So that's kind of it. Not much going on in the New York sports update. I noticed that sometimes, some days in New York with the New York sports is some days you have all the teams playing. You have the Nets, Knicks, Rangers, Islanders, all the teams playing. You have all of them. It's like overwhelming. There's so many teams. When baseball hits, then you have the Yankees and the Mets. Like, it's everything. Everyone's playing at once. And there's some days where we only have one or two teams play. And that was kind of the case last night. Rangers didn't play yesterday. Nets didn't play yesterday. Yankees actually had a day off yesterday. Mets did. But if you really want to get in deep, then the Yankees didn't and the Mets did. And only really the Islanders and Knicks played. I believe, the Islanders played yesterday. So, it's kind of funny. It's kind of interesting to see the scheduling. Some days you get a lot of sports, and that's how it is. Some days there's a lot of sports on. Some days there's very little. We're entering a period right now where we're gonna have basketball on for the next couple of weeks here. We shouldn't have to complain about not having sports on. So anyway, let's get into the topics here today. We got the Jets free agency. I know I did this early on in the week, but the Jets made some more moves yesterday. Not as big as the first two moves we made, signing Corey Davis and Carl Lawson, but we did make some moves yesterday. Signed Keelan Cole, So Keelan Cole, we signed an offensive lineman. We got LaMarcus Joyner. So, we signed some guys. Keelan Cole and LaMarcus Joyner are the two main guys I'm going to look at as guys that will probably impact the team. Our offensive lineman we signed, he will probably kind of be a more so a backup. Dan Feeney is his name, instead of just calling him offensive lineman. He had a really good rookie year with the Chargers, got injured. He's never been the same since. I don't foresee us really using him much. It was kind of just one of those acquisitions, a depth acquisition, bring him in, do whatever. It's not a move that's going to make or break our season. Keelan Cole, I really like this move. We're bringing in a quick, speedy receiver that's still young and still got time to grow. So this is a good move here, and we're not giving him much. We only signed him to a one-year deal, so we got him. There's some more Juju Smith rumors going around. Juju Smith-Schuster rumors going around. I don't buy into it. I don't think the Jets have gotten two receivers this offseason. Plus, we already have Jameson Crowder and Denzel Mims, so I don't really foresee us going out and getting another receiver. Maybe we do, but I didn't think we were going to get Keelan Cole either. So we did. So anything could happen in free agency. But that was some of the Jets stuff. So we're going to kind of give you a little bit of an update there. I know I did it early on in the week on Tuesday, but I decided, let's do it again today. I kind of had a little bit of a vacant topic. There's so much news going around in the NFL, but I decided, Jets made more splashes instead of just letting it carry into the weekend. Might as well talk about it today. So we're going to get into that. Then we're going to give the March Madness predictions. I'm going to kind of give you who I think is going to win each game. I know I ran over it yesterday in my bracket, but today give you the over-unders, give you the spread, kind of give you that kind of stuff, and head into the weekend full of basketball with my game picks and all that stuff. So hopefully today will be decider of my bracket. The first game could bust your bracket, and that's the frustrating part with brackets. And actually, earlier today, I made another bracket. So I made like 3 other brackets. It was kind of one of these last second things. So I made a paper bracket, which is a lot of times what I did, but I decided today, I went on and made an online bracket, and I did some different scenarios. So there's an ESPN bracket challenge where you can go into, where you go download the app. You can make your bracket. It's just online. So I made my online bracket today. I made like 3 or 4 of them. I had one with Illinois winning, a couple with Gonzaga winning, a couple different scenarios. I said yesterday with Oklahoma, I made a bracket with Missouri winning instead, because I definitely think that will probably be the case now that Oklahoma's losing their star point guard, but we'll figure out. I made a bracket just like that. But I figured, you could track it. I could track my bracket. I always do this too with paper brackets. Sometimes at the end of the March Madness, I try to calculate what picks I got right, what picks I got wrong, and see how accurate I was on my bracket. And sometimes that's tough to do. So on the online bracket, if you just do the same bracket as you did on your paper bracket, you could it gives you your percentages. It gives you how many you got right, your percentages, correct picks in a row, all that stuff. It shows you how your underdog picks are doing, how your favorite picks are. It gives you all this different number stuff. So I like to see that. So I did that. So I'm gonna kind of give you my predictions and stuff like that. Then I'll get into New York sports update, head into the weekend, packed weekend of sports ahead of us, ton of college basketball. That's really the story. A lot of college basketball this weekend. Like I said, all of today, all of tomorrow. So a lot of college basketball. That's mainly going to be watching, but there is some other stuff going around on as well in pro sports. So with all that being said, let's get into it. By the way, Nets play today and Rangers play today for my favorite teams. Yankees also play today. So there's a lot of action, a lot of sports, and free agency in the NFL too, which is something that always keeps you at the edge of your seat because you want to know where all the players are going to go, what your team's going to do. So, and the Jets, like I said, made 2 other moves yesterday So hopefully everything goes well with that. But with all that being said, this is the BSN Network podcast, and let's get right into it. So the New York Jets yesterday made some more free agent splashes, as we are exactly, obviously the week usually ends on the week starts and ends, in a Sunday, a Saturday area like that. So, but technically, everyone looks at a week as like a Monday through a Friday. So technically today, the free agency, kind of its first full week is in the books, the first 5 days. You go into the weekend. I don't know if there's going to be many moves on the weekend. There's probably going to be more moves during the week. But kind of giving you a little bit of a recap of the first week of free agency, the first, kind of full week of free agency. Obviously, it started up on Monday, and now we're sitting here today on Friday, talking about some of the moves. So there was obviously a lot of moves. There was a lot of guys out there to be picked up, and there still is a lot of guys out there to be picked up. There's still a lot of them. There's still, 10, 15 really solid players out there. You still got one of the best receivers in the NFL available in Kenny Golladay. Maybe not one of the best receivers in the league, but when healthy, he could definitely be a top 5 or top 10 threat in the NFL. When healthy, he is definitely up there in the conversation as a top 10 receiver in the NFL. He's still available. There's Bears are interested, Bengals are interested, Giants are interested, Ravens are interested. So there's about 4 teams interested in him. He's met with the Bengals, he's met with the Bears, met with the Giants. I believe today he was meeting with the Ravens. So we'll figure out, I'm sure in the next couple days, what's going to happen with him. So to be honest, for the first week there was a lot that happened, and it's kind of funny when you look at it. It's almost like destruction. It's like when you look at it, all the pieces, before free agency happened, you had all these teams with this nice cap space, you had all these players out there looking for these nice contracts, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday goes by, and all these teams' cap space is all the way lowered. Teams have just completely went out and just, gotten all these different players and stuff like that. It's like the free agency now. It's like there's a lot of cleanup to do, and there's a couple more players remaining out there. Like I said, there's probably about 5 really solid players, and then there's a couple guys out there too that are still available. And obviously there's some really small name free agents out there. I'm not going to name some, and there's some of them that I don't even know. There's some guys out there that might be these unrestricted free agents, and you might pick them up, put them on your practice squad. So there's always moves happening, but for the most part, there's some bigger names still out there. Juju Smith-Schuster still out there. Like I said earlier, Kenny Golladay still available. Richard Sherman's still available. Kyle Fuller's available. He came available yesterday after the Bears released him. I already said Sherman. Keanu Neal's available. Anthony Harris is available. So there's still a lot of names out there to be picked up, and there's still a lot more moves ahead of us to be made, I'm sure. Especially guys like Kenny Golladay and stuff like them. They're not going to go this season without a team. Clowney's still available. So, like I said, there's still a lot of players available. But the Jets yesterday made two moves that are going to impact us, and one move that's kind of a depth addition, a move that's not going to do much. So, the move that I liked the most yesterday by the New York Jets. So far, the New York Jets have made, about 7 moves? We've signed Jared Davis, Corey Davis, Justin Harvey, Carl Lawson, Keelan Cole, LaMarcus Joyner, and Dan Feeney. So we've made about 7 moves, 7 that I can recall. I don't remember us signing anyone else. I think it's been 7 moves so far we've made, which is about in the ballpark area of what we all expected the Jets to do. Maybe were we expecting the Jets to go out there and get, some big names like some of the faces of the NFL, or not face of the NFL, but some of the bigger names out there like Golladay and stuff? Yeah, sure. The Jets have gone some big names, but we haven't gotten, guys like Trent Williams. I know there was a lot of rumors of us getting Joe Thuney, one of the better offensive linemen in the league. We haven't done that yet. So, but I really feel like the Jets, the way we approached this, and I knew this coming in, and I said I wanted the Jets to spend money, and I meant that saying, you know what, go out and get some of the big guys. Go out and get some of these guys that are going to do damage, and go out and get guys that are going to be absolute freaks on the football field, whether that's on the offensive side of the ball or the defense side of the ball, or in this case, we signed a guy that's specialist in special teams on the special team side of the ball. So whatever side of the ball it is, we've got to try to be our best at it. And I said at the beginning of free agency, I was saying, I would love for us to spend money, go out and give guys money. Don't go out and be conservative with your money and try not to do much. Go out and make moves. Go out, take chances, right? You're not going to, they always, it's almost like you're going to miss 100% of your shots you don't take. That's the same thing here in this situation. If you don't try to offer a player a contract, you're not going to get him. You have a better chance of at least getting him if you offer him a contract or negotiate with him than not even doing anything with him. It's almost like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You're going to miss 100% of the players you don't even negotiate with. So that's what I said. I said, I don't want us to go out there because to be honest, the past couple years and really the past decade for the New York Jets, overpaying for players has not worked out. Going out and getting big names in free agency hasn't worked out. As a matter of fact, it's been some of the smaller names. It's been some of the guys that were kind of under the radar that have been the most crucial and have made the most impact for the New York Jets. I always go back to this example. For example, Jamison Crowder. He was in the same free agent class as C.J. Mosley and Le'Veon Bell. Mosley's played one game. Bell's off the team. We're talking Jamison Crowder's one of the better slot receivers I've seen in a long time by the New York Jets. This is almost the same situation. Instead of going out and getting all these big names, Joe Thuney, Trent Williams, overpaying, giving these guys a lot of money, you spread it out and fill more needs. And like I said, I like that we're spending our money. At the beginning of free agency, I was genuinely concerned when the first 10 hours of free agency went by and I heard the Jets pop up no times at all. And I got concerned because you can't just expect to build through the NFL draft. Because how many players are really going to come out of the NFL draft and be that big of an impact? Not many. Sure, you might think that your second overall pick might be a solid player, but it's not that. The ratio of coming out of the NFL draft and being that big of an impact is small. Now, I'm not saying the NFL draft is bad. I'm just saying, get guys out there that have proven themselves and sign them, and then go to the NFL draft. So the New York Jets yesterday made some acquisitions. 2 acquisitions. One acquisition I really like. The other one, it's kind of one of those things where we got to see what happens to him, and that's LaMarcus Joyner. It's tough to say if this is going to be a move that's going to help us or not because he struggled with the Raiders, but at the same time, he was struggling with the Raiders because he was playing a cornerback, which was not his main position. LaMarcus Joyner is actually a safety. On paper, he's a safety, and John Gruden, his defensive scheme, had him at a cornerback, and it's tough to put a safety and a cornerback in that. So when he's been safety in his career, he's really good, but when he's a cornerback, he's not, and he hasn't played safety in a couple of seasons. So maybe if we could put him back at safety, maybe he'll be solid again. So that's one of those moves. I can't sit here and rave about it and say how good he is because he's shown flashes at safety. Cornerback, he's terrible. So, and we're gonna play him as a safety. So I don't know. I don't want to sit here and say he's also a little older now. When he was a dominant safety early on in his career, when he was a really good safety and early on in his career, he was much younger. He's older now, going back to the safety position. I don't want to sit here and say it's going to be a great move. All I'm going to say, it's kind of one of those moves, bring a veteran in the locker room, one of those type of things. Dan Feeney, the offensive lineman sign, I don't foresee this move doing much. It's kind of a depth addition. It's a move that I'm not going to sit here and talk hours about because it's one of these moves that I don't even think Dan Feeney will probably be starting week 1. Unless if injuries happen, which is very possible. But this is a guy that I don't foresee starting week 1. It's only a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. Dan Feeney, he can play guard and center, but the problem with him is we already have a center, and that is Connor McGovern, and Connor McGovern actually had a good year that year. So Dan Feeney, he's going to be a guy that's going to probably be a depth. So that's a move that we got him. If injuries happen, he'll find his way onto the offensive line. Hopefully that's not the case. And like I said, we'll see how it all plays out. But sitting here right now, I'm not going to say that this Dan Feeney's move is going to make or break our season. A move that I really like that the New York Jets made yesterday, and I was talking to a bunch of people when this move was made. Not when it, but when it was made. I always, after every move made or in NFL, I always talk to people about sports. I mean, that's what I do. So I was talking to some people yesterday about it, about this move and the Keelan Cole, and obviously, there's not everyone's a big Jets fan like me. As a matter of fact, there's not too many. There's people I know who are Jets fans, but there's not crazy amount. So you even get it, and that's another thing. What's great about having conversations with people who might not be your favorite team's fan is the fact that if you agree on a move, that means it's a good move. So Jets rumors: Keelan Cole agrees to a $5.5 million contract amid Juju Smith-Schuster buzz. So Juju Smith-Schuster, there's rumors yesterday about us getting it, blah blah blah. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna explain if I want it to happen or not because that's a totally different topic, different day. But Jets went out and signed Keelan Cole, and I like this move, and I like it for a couple reasons, and I'm gonna tell you why here. I'm gonna tell you why. So, I'm gonna tell you why I think this move is a solid move. As we just got news here that Juju just take a pay cut. Let's see here. So back to my Keelan Cole. Juju, by the way, is going back to the Steelers. So all those rumors about him are completely out the window at this point. But, so Jets rumors. So Keelan Cole signs. And like I said, why I like this deal so much is because it's a move that allows the Jets to have some flexibility on where they want to play him. And like I said, I'm big into young guys, especially for a team like the Jets that's still learning, new coaching staff. There's nothing better than bringing in a guy who is still learning and still young and bringing him into a new system. It's tough to put a veteran player into a new system because he's already it's tough to put a veteran player into a new system because he's already been in so many different systems. But when you put a new player into a new system, it works out really well because that player is still learning. And he can learn the system while still learning the game at the same time. And that's a situation, that's his situation with Keelan Cole, is he's still learning, and he's still a guy that's, he's very football smart, but he's still learning. And putting him into this new offensive system with Mike LaFleur, it's a great offensive system for him. Mike LaFleur is the Jets' new offensive coordinator. And his offense is a lot of play action, a lot of slot plays. There will be some deep balls. There's going to be some bootlegs. There's going to be a lot of that stuff. And Keelan Cole, like I said earlier, with his flexibility, he can play receiver and he can play slot receiver, slot is a guy that runs a lot more. He's a Jamison Crowder. He can play slot receiver and he could be good at both slot and be a regular 1, 2, or 3 threat. So he's a really good player. Still young, and what I like with some of the most about him is his speed. And the Jets, to be honest, in the past couple of years, we haven't had a guy that has had tremendous speed. I mean, you could say Braxton Berrios, but he doesn't get much playing time. There's nothing better than having a receiver that can be flexible and have speed. Because this is a guy that can play slot and turn it upfield, and this is a guy that can also be a threat from other sides of the field and use his speed to his advantage. And that's big. And it's a guy that can also return punts. And he had a really, I forget, it was like a 98-yard punt return last season, I think, or something like that. So there's a guy that can return, or 90-yard punt return, I think. Is a guy that can return punts. He's quick, very good foot movement. I mean, very good movement. Just very. I mean, he's a very young player. He's young, so he's gonna go out there. His legs are fresh. He's young into the league. This is a guy that we're getting, entering his prime, which I don't. Entering his prime here. So, entering his prime. So, it's obviously, it's a good move by the New York Jets. It's a really good move by the Jets. I like this move here. So I think this is a good move for the Jets. Speedy guy, a guy that is going to go out there, give it 100% every game. So, Jets rumors: Keelan Cole agrees to $5.5 million contract amid Smith-Schuster buzz. The New York Jets reportedly added to their receiving corps Thursday, signing wideout Keelan Cole to a 1-year deal worth $5.5 million deal, per Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. The Jets already made a splashy signing at the position, adding Corey Davis on Thursday. As well, per ESPN's Rich Cimini, Davis signed a 3-year, $37.5 million deal. Those two packs likely end the rumors that the team was pursuing Juju Smith-Schuster. We just got news now that Smith-Schuster signed with the Steelers. Again, he took a massive pay cut. Cole, 27 years old, had a solid 2020 season for the Jacksonville Jaguars, registering 55 catches for 642 yards and 5 touchdowns. But with players like Laviska Shenault and DJ Chark Jr. already on the roster and Marvin Jones Jr. and Philip Dorsett added in free agency, Cole became expandable. Both he and Davis will be significant upgrades for a Jets offense that was generally devoid of impactful players last season. The team's top receivers last year was Jamison Crowder, 59 receptions for 699 yards and 6 touchdowns. A solid slot receiver, but not the sort of player you build a passing game around. It's the truth. Jamison Crowder is very good, but you're not going to have him as your main number one receiver. That's not a slot receiver's job. Receiver 1 is your main receiver. So like Corey Davis, he'll probably be our number 1. And our slot guy is going to be a guy who can be playmaker, who can be a guy that's going to be a speed, guy that can pick up 10, 15 yards. It's not a guy that we're going to have to expect to go out there, give us 5 touchdowns a game and 150 yards. That's not what we're expecting. We're expecting a guy that's going to be able to catch the ball, defended, pretty well defended, catch the ball in the middle of the field, and, be able to turn it upfield. That's one of the big things. A lot of times how I judge slot receivers is how fast they can turn it upfield. If they can't turn their body and run upfield for another 5 yards, that's not good. But Keelan Cole can do it. He's very quick. It's far to argue that Davis and Cole aren't that type of player either, though. 26-year-old Davis appears to have some untapped potential, but they will give the Jets more options in the passing game. Along with any young players the team potentially drafts at the position. The bigger question for the New York's offense, of course, is who will throw the ball to them next year. Sam Darnold is the incumbent, but he hasn't lived up to the hype in his 3-year career. He was hardly the only problem for the 2-14 Jets last year, but he has yet to look like a long-term solution either. So plenty of uncertainties remain regarding the Jets offseason. Davis and Cole have helped to address one major need, however. That is the receiver position. Now, like I said, I didn't say this, but I don't, and I've been saying this on the podcast. I'm not saying these moves. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not even close. I know we're not going to. I think this season will definitely be improved. I mean, it's not that hard to improve from a 2-14 record. I mean, you got to win 1 game, and that's an improvement. You got to win 3 games. That's an improvement, which is not that hard to do. I mean, if you're the Jets, that's kind of hard though. What I'm trying to do with the Jets here is I'm not saying they're going to be a Super Bowl team, and I'm not saying this Keelan Cole move is going to take us to a Super Bowl. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we have the best receiving core in the NFL. No, that's not the case. And that's the other thing too. Have we improved at the receiving core? Yes. Our receiving core was terrible last year. Chris Hogan, for a couple weeks, was one of our main receivers, and he is now playing in a professional lacrosse league. Okay, it's crazy how last season we had no receivers. So have we already upgraded at the receiver position? Yeah. If we only got Corey Davis, that would have been an upgrade. So Keelan Cole is an upgrade. Adds more slot. It adds a quick guy. It adds a guy that's still young. He's fresh into the league. He's still very young. He had a career year last year. This is a guy that we're not asking to be a number 1 threat. It's a guy that we're asking to go out, do his job. Obviously catch the ball when thrown to him. That's the ultimate goal as a receiver. You want to catch it, not drop it. And use your quickness to his advantage. And I very well think he'll be a punt returner as well, which isn't as pivotal, but it's, still nice to have a quick punt returner, I guess. I'm not going to sit here and brag about his punt returning skills. But like I said, I'm not saying the Jets are going to be a Super Bowl team. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team. All those predictions will come after the draft. I'm not going to predict the Jets to win the Super Bowl this year. All those predictions and all that predicting will come after the draft when our roster is full, because we haven't even drafted yet. And who knows what we're going to do in the draft as well. We might trade back. We might draft a quarterback. We might draft an lineman. Who knows? We might draft a receiver. What are we going to do? I mean, we have no clue what we're going to do with the number 2 pick. But what I'm saying is the Jets are improving. And to my point with the LaMarcus Joyner deal, we're bringing a veteran in. Is he going to make this team win 5 more games? No. It's an addition for a veteran guy in the secondary because we have a very young secondary. A guy to come in and hopefully, he looks like he did last season. And that is, or not last season, a couple years ago. Because this is a guy he played cornerback, but, it's whatever. Whatever the case may be. The Jets here, they're making moves. They're making moves that are improving us. Corey Davis, Carl Lawson, Keelan Cole, moves like that. And you look at all the grading. You look at everyone who grades this offseason. The Jets are up there as having one of the better offseasons so far. Because we're adding to the needs that we need most. The Jets haven't had an edge rusher since Demario Davis, which was 6 years ago. We now get Carl Lawson, a true edge rusher. The Jets haven't had really that big of a number one threat in a very long time. We now have a true number one threat in Corey Davis. Right? The Jets could use some depth at the receiver position. We could use a quick guy. We haven't had that in a long time. We now go out and get Keelan Cole. So the Jets are making moves. We're making the right ones. As a fan, I got to continue to be patient because Joe Douglas seems to like to make moves at night, and that's the truth. All of his moves this season have came late. He has not made moves during the day. So I got to be patient with this. It's another thing, too. Special teams last year was a struggle for us, so we go out and get a very good special teams guy from the best special teams team in the league in the Saints. So just got to keep building, got to keep improving at the needs we have. And hey, like I said, we still got the draft. And that's when I'll make my prediction on the season. And I can tell you what, this is not a move. These are not moves that are going to make the Jets go 17-0. Sure, would I love? Yes, 17. They are playing, they're going to be playing, 17 games this season. So, or 17 weeks. They're adding 17 games this season. They'll be playing. They're planning on doing that. So I'm not saying the Jets are going to go undefeated and go all the way. Would I love that? Yeah, I would love that. But, it's just building. We've got a really good coach in Robert Saleh. It's just continuing to build and build and build and build and improve and build for the future. Like I said, we are building whenever we went into rebuilds, the New York Jets, we went into rebuilds backwards, blindfolded, walking backwards. That's not, you don't want to go into a rebuild that way. And what I mean by is we can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel is all these years, the Jets, you can't, like I say, I always make this. You can't build a house from roof to bottom. You got to because what? If you try to build a house from roof to bottom, it's all going to just fall. And the Jets were trying to do that. You got to start off with a solid foundation and then build and build and build and build. And ultimately, as you get to the top of it, there's going to be the Super Bowl trophy. So the Jets right now are building and building. We've got our solid foundation down, head coach, got that. We got our GM, all that stuff. So now we continue to build. Let's build at this position, build at this position, build at this position, and continue to build and build. That's what the Jets have got to do here. And like I said, what I mean by a light at the end of the tunnel is I think we can finally agree that this season, I think, the New York Jets will be a competent and respected football team. We're not going to be the laughingstock. We might not. I don't think we'll be the laughingstock of the league. I don't think we're going to go 2-14 this year. And like I said, I've got to see how the draft plays out to really give that. I don't want to sit here and try to make predictions. But light at the end of the tunnel, I can finally start to see some type of base and future forming here. Because the New York Jets all these years, we've just been taking steps back. We're finally taking a step forward. So good move by the New York Jets signing Keelan Cole. And then 2 other moves we made, Dan Feeney and LaMarcus Joyner. Let's see here. Alrighty. Let's get into his stats. We'll get into Keelan Cole's stats. Then I want to get to March Madness. And like I said, March Madness predictions kind of gonna go into my the New York sports update as well. It's gonna be a little bit of a combined topic. So Keelan Cole, if I could find it, that would be great. Alrighty, so last season he had 55 catches for 642 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 11.7 was his average. Like I said, he's only 27 years old. He's still very young. Will be his 5th year in the league. And another thing, too, is here, everyone talks about health and stuff, and the Jets have struggled with health at the receiver position. Last season, we thought we had a healthy receiving core. We didn't. It was on, guys were injured all the time. So this is a guy who hasn't missed his game in an NFL career. He's played 4 years and has played all 16 games. So he's played 64 total games. This season, he had the most catches in a single season, the most targets in a single season. He did not have the most yards. He had the most touchdowns in a single season. He had the most first downs in a single season. So he had a career year this year. And this is a guy, too, in his first year, he was a guy who was trusted early on. He had 81 targets in his first year. And that's trustworthy. You're talking about a guy who's been trusted early on. 81 targets in your rookie year, that's a lot. For playing 16 games and then to have 748 yards, it's a good amount of targets for a rookie, considering a lot of times rookies got to gain their trust. The guy also in his rookie year averaged 17.8 yards per catch. Last season, he averaged 11.7 yards per catch. In his career, he's 14.1 yards per catch he averages. That's big for a slot receiver and a guy who he could stretch the field. He's a guy who can get it, run upfield, guy who can also get it deep, and, be solid there. He's got a total of 274 targets in his career. He's caught 159 receptions, 2,242 yards. So this is a guy who last season had a big year, was leading in major stat categories, had the most touchdowns, had the most receptions, the most targets, second most yards in a single season. He had the most first downs, had 11.7 average. So he is a guy that when relied on, he's going to come through. And that's what I like. Reliable players who can be reliable in big moments in the game. That's what we're getting in Keelan Cole. Coming up next, we're going to get into March Madness predictions. Yesterday I did my bracket. Today I'm kind of going to give you who I think will win. Who I think I'm going to yesterday I shared my bracket, but today I'm going to kind of give you the spread, the over-unders, the times when they're on, channel, all that stuff. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview for today's games coming up next. Alrighty, as my guy falls. My Kevin Durant. Okay. So, anyway, yesterday obviously was the first day of the March Madness, first four, whatever you want to call it. Today kind of is the first official day because now all the teams are set. So, let me get my bracket out here to find out who. So with yesterday's wins, and then I'll get to today's game as well, and tomorrow's games. So, with yesterday's win, UCLA will play USC. Texas Southern will play Michigan. No, my bad. So Norfolk State will play Gonzaga. Drake will play USC. Texas Southern will play Michigan. And UCLA will play BYU. So UCLA won yesterday in overtime 86-80. Norfolk State won 54-53. Drake won 53-52. And Texas Southern won 60-52. So all these games yesterday came down to the final couple of minutes, which is what I love. Because they all came down to the couple of minutes. Michigan State got off to a really good start, and UCL came back and they just dominated in overtime. So it was a 6-point game, 1-point game, 1-point game, 8-point game. A lot of really good games yesterday, really close games that came down to the wire. Texas Southern also, after being outscored by 10 in the first half, came back and after coming back coming back from 10 points, they outscored Mount St. Mary's 8 by 18 points in the second half. So they had a big win there. So a lot of really good games on yesterday. Even though it was some of the smaller schools, although UCLA and Michigan State's not small. But even though some of the smaller schools, it was still a lot of fun. And those teams, too, that's like an elimination game. That's an opportunity to get in. If you don't, your season's over. So that's another thing, too. All these games, it's single elimination. So you're going to get these teams' best effort. You're going to get it. You're going to get these teams' best effort. You're going to get these teams' best effort. That's what you're going to get. So anyway, let's get into today's game. So Virginia Tech, Florida. Virginia Tech's going to come into this game, or Florida's comes into this game 1-point favorites. The over-under is 135.5 for this game. I'm going to give Virginia Tech the win. I gave it their win yesterday. So they are the 10 seed. I have them winning. Then you have Arkansas and Colgate. Arkansas is 8.5-point favorites. The over-under is 162.5. I'm going to give Arkansas the win. By the way, Virginia Tech and Florida will be on CBS. Arkansas and Colgate will be on True TV. By the way, by the time this is up on YouTube, these games will probably be completed. So just know that. So kind of me giving you the CBS and True TV stuff's kind of not really worth it. But still, that's when the times and the games are on. So CBS and True TV. First game was 12:15. And then second game, I believe, is like 1:15-ish or something around there. So, but by the way, by the time this is uploaded, these games will be completed, and we will actually be into the Ohio State and Baylor games and stuff like that. So, but anyway, I'm really looking forward to this game at 4:00 p.m. East Standard Time. Loyola Chicago, Virginia Tech. Then we got Illinois and Drexel. Illinois coming to this game, 22.5-point favorites. The over/under is 144. I'm gonna give Illinois a win. There's not much I really gotta say here. Illinois is just dominant. This game comes on at TBS as well. This is another game. By the time I upload it, will probably be done as well. So actually, this game might not be done. It might not be done. It might be in like the fourth quarter. But with Illinois, I think it's going to be a whopping. It is going to be a beatdown. So it'll probably be done by the fourth quarter because it's going to be a crazy beatdown. But either way. I think the Virginia Tech game is going to be close. I do. I think it's going to be very close. I mean, it was only a 1-point favorite. Arkansas, Colgate. Everyone's hyping up Colgate. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think Arkansas could very well make the Final Four. I mean, I think there's a good shot. But anyway, Texas Tech, Utah State. So Texas Tech, Utah State. Texas Tech, 5-point favorites. The over-under is 131 for this game. 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. I'll give Texas Tech the win. Then Ohio State, Oral Roberts. This game comes on 3 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. I will give Ohio State the win. Then Baylor, Hartford, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on True TV. I give Baylor the win. Loyola Chicago, Georgia Tech. 4 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. I'll give Loyola Chicago the win. Tennessee, Oregon State, give Tennessee the win. That's on 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. And that game will be on. That game is going to be close. I think Oregon State has a shot at winning that game. It's going to be close. I'm going to go a little quicker here. Oklahoma State, Liberty. Give Oklahoma State the win. 6:25 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. North Carolina, Wisconsin. North Carolina's 1.5-point favorites here. This game comes on 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CBS. Houston, Cleveland State. I'll give Houston the win. By the way, Wisconsin and Houston the win. 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time on True TV. Purdue, North Texas. Give Purdue the win. They're 7.5-point favorites. 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. Rutgers, Clemson. I'm going to give Rutgers the win. There's no over-under spread for this game for some reason. This game comes on 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. Syracuse, San Diego State. I'll give San Diego State the win. 2.5-point favorites. 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. West Virginia, Morehead State. Give West Virginia the win. They're 12.5-point favorites. This game comes on 9:50 p.m. Eastern Time on True TV. Villanova, Winthrop. Give Villanova the win. They're 6.5-point favorites. This game comes on 9:57 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. Then tomorrow's game. Colorado, Georgetown. I'm going to give Colorado the win. This game's earlier game. It's an earlier game. This game's an earlier game, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Give Colorado the win. Then I'll give Florida State the win, Kansas the win, LSU the win, Michigan the win, Creighton the win, Alabama the win, USC the win, Iowa the win, UConn the win, Virginia win, Oklahoma. On here, I'm going to give them the win, but we'll see how that all plays out. Gonzaga the win, BYU the win, Texas the win, and Oregon win. And then the games here are 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time on True TV, 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS, 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS, True TV, then TBS, TNT, TBS, CBS, True TV, TNT, TBS, CBS, True TV, TNT. So those are all those games. They're all on TBS, True TV. So that we'll see how that plays out. So we'll see how all that plays out. But anyway. So like I said, kind of just that with the March Madness stuff, just your predictions and stuff like that. Like I said, it's kind of tough. Like, I'm going to go through and give you who I will think will win. Now, if there's some things that happen in the bracket that, I don't have, if there's a team that wins or something like that, then I'll go through and preview it. Anyway, so we're going to get into this. I'm going to get into the New York Sports Update now. As we did college basketball, like I said, it's going to kind of tie in to the New York Sports Update, as we'll put the cherry on top of another full week of podcasts here, as we will finish off another very good week of podcasts, and then a lot of next week, and for the next couple weeks, going to be a lot of college basketball talk. So let's get into some of the NBA stuff. Yesterday, the Lakers won, Timberwolves won, Trailblazers won, Hawks won, Knicks won, and Wizards won. Today we got the Celtics, Kings give Celtics to win, Spurs, Cavs give Cavs to win, Jazz, Raptors give Jazz to win, Heat, Pacers give Heat to win, Rockets, Pistons give Rockets to win, Grizzlies, Warriors give Grizzlies to win, Nuggets, Bulls give Nuggets to win, Mavericks, Trailblazers give Mavericks to win, and Suns, Timberwolves give Suns to win. Nets also play today. Nets come in this game 20-13. Magic come in this game 13-27. This game, Nets are 10.5-point favorites. The over/under is 224 for this game. Today's game comes on today, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can on FS Florida and Yes Network, so I'll be watching on Yes Network there. So that's the Nets game. As for the NHL, yesterday the Ducks won, Avalanche won, Oilers won, Red Wings won, Devils won, Blue Jackets won, Bruins won, Predators won, Flyers won, and Lightning won. Today we got the Capitals, Rangers. Rangers come in this game 12-12-4. Capitals come in this game 19-6-4. This game comes on today, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on NHL Network. The over/under 6.5 for this game. Today, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on NHL Network. I mean, how can I not give the Rangers the win after a 9-0 performance? So I'm going to give the Rangers the win. How can I not give them a win? Right? Canadians, Canucks, I'll give Canadians to win. Maple Leafs, Flames give Maple Leafs to win. Sharks, Blues give Blues to win. And Kings, Golden Knights give Golden Knights to win. The Rangers, I think, will win. I mean, then the Rangers have a back-to-back tomorrow. We'll see how that all plays out. And then there's some games on Sunday as well. Tomorrow, it will depend on what happens in today's game. And the Nets as well play again on Sunday against the Wizards, which is a winnable game for us. So I would probably venture to say they will win that game, but we'll see how it all plays out. And as for the MLB, yesterday, Mariners won, Rangers won, Cardinals won, A's won, White Sox won, Cubs won, Angels won, Diamondbacks, Dodgers tied, and Nationals won. Today, we got the Blue Jays, Tigers, I'll give Blue Jays to win, Rays, Red Sox give Rays to win, Mets, Cardinals, I'll give Mets to win. Royals, Angels give Royals to win, A's, Cubs give A's to win, Dodgers, Rangers give Dodgers to win, Brewers, Diamondbacks give Diamondbacks to win, Rockies, Indians give Rockies to win, Astros, Nationals give Astros to win, Pirates, Orioles give Pirates to win. The Braves, Twins give Braves to win. Mariners, White Sox give Mariners to win. And Giants, Reds give Giants to win. Yankees also play today. Yankees come in this game 12-4-1. Phillies come in this game 8-1. This game comes on today, 6:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Yes Network. Ivan Nova's got the ball for the Phillies. No guy yet we know who's got the ball for the Yankees. Yankees are rolling right now in spring training. Might as well give them a win. Yankees also play tomorrow and then again on Sunday. So we'll see how that all plays out with today's games. Today's games there. So we'll see how all that plays out. And then we'll finish off the podcast with the fantasy action here. Alrighty, so All right, so let's get to fantasy basketball. So I'm currently losing 1,180 to 721, so not going good there. But today I've got going Kyrie Irving, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, Jeremy Grant, Jonas Valanciunas, Fred VanVleet, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, and Kemba Walker. And my injury update here is Irving groin is probable for Friday's game against the Magic. Chris Milholen of Nets Daily reports. And then, I'm going to get to Fantasy Hockey here. I am currently winning in Fantasy Hockey 86 to 71, so that's going pretty good there. Today I've got going Mika Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, Anzes Kopitar, Johnny Grandjouet, Nicholas Backstrom, Braden Shen, David Perron, Jeff Petrie, Shea Theodore, Shea Weber, Justin Falk, and Brock Beausier. And my goalie, Jacob Markstrom's playing, but I'm not going to play him. He struggled. I'm still kind of deciding, but I don't think I'm going to play him there. But obviously Panarin and guys like that will be playing. So, but yeah, he really struggled last game, so I don't know if I want to put him in. And he struggled against the Oilers too, who are a good team. And I just don't know if I want to put him in. And the Maple Leafs also are a good team with Austin Matthews, Jake Muzzin, Tavares, and different guys like that. And Austin Matthews, obviously one of the best players in the league. So I don't know if I'm going to put him in there. But anyway, that's kind of what I got for the podcast here today. That's what I got, actually. That's what I got for the podcast here today. Everyone enjoy March Madness basketball. Going to be super exciting. A lot of great games on. A lot of super exciting games. Should be a lot of good games as well. So hopefully everything goes well, and hopefully there's a lot of good games and a lot of fun action out there. So that should be good. But as you all know, I take breaks on the weekend, so I will see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.